Hey guys, Thunder E here and welcome to our 12-inch new MacBook review. This is the latest MacBook from Apple and I'm giving you this review from a Windows user's perspective, and I just wanted to let you know that because that's what I've used most of the time. Now that being said, Apple has crafted a well and beautiful looking laptop here. The new MacBook is light, it's slick, it's slim, it's got a very good crafting. At only 13.1 millimeters thin, it's a very thin, I think the thinnest MacBook out there, and is also light at just 2 pounds, making it very easy to carry around and use all the way through. Now, because of the thinness, Apple says there's only 2 ports available on this device. You have a headphone jack on the left hand side, on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side you have the USB Type-C port, which is the only port they use for power and data transfer, which can be annoying and we'll talk about more later on. But looking at the crafting of this MacBook as we open it up, it reveals a 12-inch display with a much thinner bezel. The resolution is 2304 by 1440, an aspect ratio of 16 by 10. Now, of course, you can see I've loaded Windows 10 on there with Parallels, and I have to say it does run smoothly. It was actually much quicker to install Windows 10 than actually to set up my MacBook, which is something hopefully Apple will change down the line. The setup process was a little slower than I expected. Now, that being said, this is powered by the Intel Core M processor, and the version I have here is clocked at 1.1 GHz with turbo boost. I noticed some slowdowns and slow performance with this. That is one of the problems I found with the new MacBook. Not the MacBook's fault, but more of the processor itself. Even though I have 8 gigs of RAM, I just noticed a sense of slowdown and slow functionality while using it. It performed much better on my PC side, using it on Windows 10 than on the MacBook, but nothing too crazy overall. Now, the keyboard is well spread out from edge to edge, and it's really nice. Actually functions very well while typing. You've also got that force touch trackpad, which takes some getting used to, and the best full functionality of the trackpad, of course, is when you're using Safari or Apple applications on there, where you can actually see some specific functionalities with that. That being said, it's still a nice trackpad to use, but something that I would consider a little contrived, because it really is just right click if you want to look at it that way. But what I want to do now is showcase the audio from the MacBook, the new 12-inch MacBook, as well as just how good the display looks, so you guys can tell for yourself. So take a listen to the audio as well as also just watch the display itself. Hey guys, Thunder E here, and today Google just announced Project Fi. We've heard rumors over the last couple of months about Google's MVNO network, Project Fi. And if you wonder what an MVNO network is, or MVNO is, it's a mobile virtual network operator. So Google is getting into the mobile network game. Now, they are not building out their own network. They actually have gone to do some really cool partnerships. So something very interesting. So audio quality is good from the speakers, as well as the display looks vibrant, but some of the features from the Force Touch trackpad is just using the singular button, and that highlights a couple of things where it allows you to search. You can search through movies, database, things like that, and it's kind of similar to the way Project Spartan browser actually runs. So some of those features are there and nice. Then again, like I said, the trackpad is something you might spend some time getting used to. Works very well. I do love the scroll features on there, and you can see you can easily find information on there. Like when you're using the QuickTime player, you can basically drag on the trackpad by long pressing. You can see I could long press here again and find out more information about that fan who actually dropped a comment on the video. So those are the kind of things that you notice with the trackpad. Nothing too revolutionary in my mind, but it's still a nice functionality. And again, like I said, I switched over to the Windows side, and there too, a lot of the functionality does carry over. The long press doesn't carry over there, but using your new MacBook with Parallels or Windows 10 will have no issues whatsoever. It's easy to navigate through. It's easy to jump in and out between functionalities, and also just handle things you need to handle. So I think they've done a very good job there. Now going back to look at the USB-C port, USB Type-C port, which brings an interesting factor here. Now it's a singular port that it does data transfer and charging your device. And what that means is that pretty much you can't use the USB port and charge your device at the same time. So I have a full USB here. I can't plug it in. I need to buy an accessory. This is $19, or you can get the accessory that has more ports for $79. Again, it will cost you more money to do your daily task on your device, unless of course you do everything through cloud storage. So now I've plugged it in. I have the ability to basically use my USB from either my Mac side or my Windows side. So that's some of the setbacks that I don't like about this. I'm not saying that you can't move to USB-C, but you can also give more ports available. So I'm sure they can add 1 or 2 or 3 more ports in here for a user. There's enough space to add another port on the other side, or even a port on this side here on the device, which makes it nice and simple. Also, charging your device, of course, you have a new charger. So for all Mac users, even if you're trying to switch, you need to get, of course, a new charger for this, or at least you need to buy a secondary charger if in case your charger blows up or whatever the case may be. So granted, one comes with your device, but that, like I said, it's one of those things where it limits the amount of use you can actually put into the device. Like I mentioned, there's enough space to add a secondary port there, or a third one, or maybe one more on the other side. So I have 3 USB Type-C ports, and then you can actually do more work with your device. In terms of design and feel, this thing is solid. I think Apple does a very good job in crafting, but the Core M processor really sets it down because in terms of performance, it didn't really hit the mark for me, even though you have about 8 gigs of RAM. It felt a little bit slow and sluggish. And also, while just browsing the web, it actually felt like it was heating up. Now, this is a fanless chipset, so I actually felt a lot of heat on the bottom of my device. And I also had friends who also stated the same thing while using my new MacBook. So that's something I have to mention. So if you'd ask me, should you purchase this device? I'll say no. I say wait for Generation 2. I believe the MacBook Air is more than comparable if you're a Mac user for this. If you're a Windows user, you're not missing anything out. But it's still a nice device to take a look, and hopefully we'll see improvements down the line from Apple. So if you guys have any questions or any comments about the 12-inch new MacBook, let us know. Otherwise, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and favorite this video. Do subscribe to the channel, and always enjoy your entertainment.